Most people think being rich is about how much money you make, but it's not. It's about what you don't do with your money. These are the things rich Americans never do. And they might surprise you. They don't live paycheck to paycheck. This feels normal for so many. You work, you get paid, and it's gone fast. Bills, groceries, coffee, small daily things. Most people don't notice how quickly it adds up. Rich people avoid that trap. They plan ahead. Every dollar has a purpose before it even arrives. They don't overspend on status symbols. Cars, watches, designer clothes, big houses. These feel like rewards. Most people don't notice how much these things drain money over time. Rich Americans often keep it simple. They focus on value, not image. They don't let debt run their lives. Credit cards, store financing, loans. The minimum payment might feel easy, but the interest grows fast. Most people don't notice. Rich people pay attention to every debt. They don't ignore it. They never let it control their choices. They don't ignore investments. Saving money under a mattress feels safe, but it loses power. Rich Americans know money works better when it grows. They invest thoughtfully. Even small amounts consistently invested add up over time. Most people don't notice how powerful that habit is. They don't rely on luck, sweepstakes, gambling, risky side hustles. This feels exciting. Most people don't notice how often it fails. Rich Americans prefer predictable growth. They focus on what they can control and let consistency build wealth. They don't chase every trend. Stocks, apps, real estate fads, viral side hustles. Most people jump in without research. Rich Americans wait. They study, they analyze, and they choose wisely. Impulse rarely guides their money decisions. They don't ignore financial education. School doesn't teach this. Most people don't notice how much knowledge impacts long-term wealth. Rich Americans read, learn, and consult experts. They understand taxes, investments, and compound growth. They don't live for instant gratification. Eating out, expensive trips, impulsive purchases. This feels normal. Most people don't notice how much it drains monthly budgets. Rich Americans delay rewards. They plan for bigger goals and get more in the long run. They don't forget insurance and safety nets. Accidents, health issues, job loss. Most people don't notice how vulnerable they are. Rich Americans prepare. They insure, save, and plan. Emergencies don't derail their progress. They don't ignore the small leaks. Subscription apps, convenience fees, unnecessary deliveries. Most people don't notice these tiny drains. Rich Americans track them. Every small expense is evaluated. It adds up fast when ignored. They don't make decisions emotionally. Impulse, stress, pride. Most people don't notice how often feelings dictate spending. Rich Americans pause. They think. They plan. Decisions are based on strategy, not emotion. They don't overcomplicate their finances. Multiple accounts, random investments, confusing apps. This feels normal. Most people don't notice the chaos it creates. Rich Americans simplify. They keep it organized, clear, and manageable. They don't try to impress others with money. Showing off feels satisfying. Most people don't notice the hidden costs of keeping up appearances. Rich Americans know real wealth isn't for show. It's for security, freedom, and opportunity. They don't ignore retirement planning. Social security alone isn't enough. Most people don't notice how late planning can hurt them. Rich Americans start early. They maximize opportunities, contributions, and compounding growth. They don't avoid tough conversations about money with partners, family, or advisors. Most people don't notice that discomfort leads to mistakes. Rich Americans discuss openly. They plan together, avoid surprises, and align goals. They don't give up after setbacks, missed payments, market dips, unexpected bills. Most people don't notice how quickly frustration leads to poor choices. Rich Americans adapt, learn, and continue moving forward. They don't ignore lifestyle alignment. Living beyond means, chasing trends, keeping up appearances. Most people don't notice how lifestyle slowly eats wealth. Rich Americans adjust habits to match goals, not image. They don't assume wealth comes from luck, inheritance, winning, viral success. Most people don't notice how rare it really is. Rich Americans focus on work, discipline, and consistent decisions. They don't confuse busyness with productivity. Working long hours without planning doesn't create wealth. Most people don't notice the difference. Rich Americans focus on high-value tasks and leverage their time efficiently. They don't ignore mentors and networks. Going it alone feels independent. Most people don't notice the missed guidance and opportunities. Rich Americans learn from experience, seek advice, and surround themselves with smart people. They don't treat money as a taboo topic. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. Most people don't notice the costs of avoidance. Rich Americans face money directly. They plan, analyze, and act. They don't spend without reflection. Every dollar has purpose. Impulse fades. Most people don't notice where money goes each month. Rich Americans track, evaluate, and make intentional choices. We all have the same 24 hours. The difference is how we handle money. Avoiding the traps rich people never fall into can slowly change financial outcomes. Small awareness creates big results over time. Take a moment today. Look at your habits, expenses, and choices. Notice the patterns. Start small. Change one habit. That one step, repeated, grows into